Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a great one. So today we're gonna fix a pretty annoying squeak that this truck's got going on. You might have heard it from a few of the other videos, and we're also gonna upgrade a few parts. So yeah, that sounds pretty annoying and I really want to get rid of it. So a pretty good way to pinpoint which pulley is giving you a problem, what pulley is squeaking, is take some lubricant, some WD-40 or something that can at least lubricate for a little while and spray it while the engine's running. Now be careful, don't get your fingers caught on the belt or on the fan, but try to spray it on the pulleys. And if you spray it and it stops squeaking, that's a pretty good sign that that's your pulley that's giving you problems. Now I'm gonna be replacing both my idler pulley and my tensioner and the other pulley. Now this is also an upgraded tensioner from a Super Duty. It's kind of like a bulletin or something that Ford recommends you upgrade on these OBS 7.3s because the stock design tends to fail. The tensioner pulley will kind of over time kind of deflate, kind of twist on you and start rubbing on the actual bracket. So apparently this is a pretty good upgrade. So we're gonna go ahead and do that and change the other idler pulley, and we got a new belt. So now the way that I'm gonna try and do this is by completely removing the bracket. I've seen some guys do with the bracket on the engine, but I just feel that it'll be a lot easier to get the bracket out and cut it outside of the engine rather than inside. It shouldn't be too hard. All we gotta do is take off the alternator, and I think there's like 4 or 5 bolts actually holding the bracket to the engine. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Okay guys, we got it out and it was actually pretty easy. Let me show you. So as you can see, it is not completely out, and I've got some pretty bad oil leaks, but that's just any 7.3. And I think that's just more of years of this thing leaking. Before I replace the H-pop, I've got a Terminator H-pop in there, by the way. I'll leave a link to that video somewhere around here. But the H-pop was leaking, and it was making a mess. But now I think what's leaking is this little cover. I don't think that I sealed it well enough when I put everything back together. So this is another thing that I'm gonna be touching while all this is apart, because it's much easier getting in here with the belt and all this bracket out of the way than with it on. So before we put this whole thing back together, I'm gonna make sure that I come back and reseal this thing right here. So the bracket itself is pretty easy to get off. It would go something like this, and the only two bolts that gave me any kind of trouble were this one right here behind the bottom idler pulley, and the bolt right behind the tensioner pulley. So now what I did is to get to this one, you can probably gotten this one from the bottom with the 13 mil box end wrench. But what I ended up doing was I removed this Torx bolt right here, then removed the pulley, and that gave me pretty good access to this bolt. Now for this one, you can get this one from the top with a 13 mil wrench from the top, and that's pretty easy. All the other 13 mils, I got them with the breaker bar, and I got them out by hand, and those were all pretty easy. This idler pulley, you can leave it on there. And now all we got to do is take this off so we can start modifying the actual bracket. Now, as far as the pulleys, I mean, that one was making some noise, but nothing too crazy. So I don't know. Hopefully this fixes it. Okay guys, so the only thing I'm gonna say is make sure you check all your work before you start. I didn't necessarily mess up yet, hopefully. But the tensioner, the Super Duty tensioner that I got wasn't from Ford. It was actually from Gates. And it fits, but let me show you. So now this is basically what's going on. Like the one from Ford is supposed to have it fits kind of like over all this stuff. That's why you gotta notch this out. And the one that I got obviously doesn't. Now, another thing that I noticed is that the idler pulley is a little bit smaller. Well, actually quite a bit smaller than the Ford pulley. So hopefully that's not a problem. I'm still gonna throw everything in the truck and try it out. But I'm really hoping that this doesn't give me any problems. But if you did get the OEM Ford tensioner, this is what you would have had to do. Let me get this part. So this part went right there, as you saw it. So you gotta chop that off and cut it flush with the bracket. And then you gotta notch this little bit of this little fin that goes down to the bracket. You gotta notch that down about, I don't know, 3/8, maybe ½ inch, as much as you need to. Because like I said, the actual Ford part has this little part that comes down and will interfere with this stuff. Now, I do feel pretty dumb of, I should have probably at least checked this before I even started, throw it on there, because like I said, I did a lot of work that I didn't necessarily need to do. So anyways, now what I'm gonna do is throw the bracket. I'm probably gonna throw this either on and throw the bracket back in the truck, and hopefully this will work out. Because one problem that a lot of people do have is finding the right belt. Sometimes they get longer ones, shorter ones. So hopefully this thing won't be too long because of these smaller pulleys. Before I throw this bracket back in, what I'm gonna do is, this is the little cover, the little high pressure oil pump cover, the gear bolt cover. And as you can see right there where it's obviously leaking. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this off and reseal it and throw it back in, and hopefully that'll stop the leak. Okay, so we got this thing back in. Everything's nice and clean. On the H-pop side, on the high pressure oil side, it's got like a little groove. Make sure you clean that out so that the new silicone, the new RTV or whatever, seals all around it really nice and good. I think that might have been one of the problems why mine was leaking before. So yeah, just make sure you get it all nice and clean. Get that groove all cleaned out. Get your bolts in. Follow the instructions so that this thing dries properly, and you're good. This is the gasket maker that I used. It's the black, the ultra black. This is specifically designed for oil. So wherever you got anything that will be getting a lot of oil, I do recommend that you use this. Okay, so hopefully now with those things, with the permit, the gasket maker and all that, it won't leak anymore. So now what we're gonna do is grab this thing and throw it back in there and make sure that everything fits good. Sorry for the mess, but things got a little complicated. The belt that I ordered turned out to be way too short, so I went and bought a couple more belts. This one's slightly longer and this is way longer, so I'm hoping that this one fits because I'm pretty sure this one's gonna be too long. Now I'm gonna list part numbers to all this stuff that I bought, and I'm also gonna list part numbers for the stuff that Ford recommends, because myself being a little bit dumb, I started doing a lot of research and all this, and I came up with these part numbers, which is what people said worked best, which ended up not working for me. So I'm gonna leave links in the description, but make sure that you do your own research and make sure that the stuff you buy will fit your truck. That way you don't have to be running around town. Like I said, hopefully this fixes it, because if not, I'm gonna have to find the right parts. So anyways, let's throw this one on, and like I said, hopefully this one will fit. Okay guys, as you can see, I've got my belt on. It was a little bit of a pain to get it on, but it's on there. And basically everything on that side stays the same, obviously. And on this side, it's pretty similar. Except now, instead of having that idler pulley at the bottom, now it comes up a little bit right here and goes down and loops around that the tensioner pulley and back around the alternator and under this idler pulley like it did before. Okay guys, so yeah, definitely stick to the part numbers that Ford gave in that on that bulletin, because you don't want to be running around town buying belts we've got this belt on there, but to be honest with you, I think I'm gonna have to keep looking for the right belt. And I'll probably have to order the one that's on the bulletin and make sure that that one works, because this one is too loose. The tension is really not doing its job. I mean, it's on there and it'll work. It'll work enough for me to turn it on and back it up and park it in its home over there. But I am gonna keep looking and try and find the right belt, the right length belt, because I'm not too happy with that. So now I'm gonna fire it up, and hopefully everything will sound good, and we'll get this thing out of here and be done with it. And that's gonna be it for this video too. Make sure you like, leave a comment if you have any questions. Like I said, I'm gonna leave a link to the parts that should be, but do your own research. Make sure that you're getting the right parts. But anyways, leave a comment, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you for the next one.